It's a self-titled album, right? So, but
Yeah.
it's a group effort, and the album slash group is called Marlowe. Seattle. So it consists of a Seattle-based producer, LaOrange, and North Carolina
L'Orange.
MC LaOrange, and
L'Orange, yeah. I think that's how you pronounce it. Pretty sure.
right, and then North Carolina
Laurent.
MC Solemn Brigham. And so it's their first album together, and it's released on what I think is one of the best hip hop labels. To me, they're kind of like and a whole host of other talented
Yeah.
acts. So, Things We Summon, I think that's the best beat
Mm-hmm.
on the project. Jazz organ, and then
Yeah, it's a
there's like
dope one.
this weird harmony. I wasn't sure about it. Like I'm listening where scary sounds and stuff. Somebody shrieking in a
Yeah.
canyon. I didn't really understand it, but it fit.
His harmonies on some of his hooks, they're like, I don't know, I dig that about him. It's like it's unique in a way. I feel like a heavy soul, like in the music.
Yeah,
It's
kind
like a
of
lot,
that.
lot of emotion and
It kind of makes me feel like too, like because he's not a great singer, but that's okay because it almost reminds
yeah,
me
it's fine, right?
like Bob Dylan is not a good singer.
I was gonna just say that.
Like he's not like
Bob
he's
Dylan.
like he's
Right.
an amazing songwriter, an amazing like lyricist, but he can't sing for shit. And
Right.
then he's like this guy's not as bad, so don't think I'm saying he's like Bob Dylan bad at singing. But it's
Right.
almost Slug from Atmosphere too. Like Slug can't fucking sing, but that's not why you like him. You like him because it's
Right.
earnest, it's from the heart. So it's like it.
Yeah, it works enough. And
Yeah, it comes off as more genuine too because there's a couple times. But he does have some fluctuations in his cadence too, which I like. But there's certain times. I think this is the type of MC too that's like might be an acquired taste over time as well. Because there's certain
Mhm.
MCs that
Yeah, I see that too.
it's very intense. Like it's this projected at
Yeah.
you throughout the album. But
It's funny that good.
But I would say like even a completely different style, but someone who like West Side Gun, like
Yeah.
if you hear West Side Gun for the first time, you're like, this dude sounds insane, and then like the more you get it. So I think like too with that. So that's why I almost feel like I need to spend almost like more time with this album to really wrap my head around it. I can definitely I like it. I like listening to it. I'm gonna keep playing it. But I also feel like it's one of the challenging albums. Like I feel like LP's Fantastic Damage was like that the first few times I listened to when it first came out. It was
right.
like, there was parts that were kind of like almost discordant, and just things that were like built song catchy, but that's why it's there. Almost like how Darius is saying over here about like some of the sound like it was a Halloween record or something, but it fit. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of like sometimes getting that negative or how do I put it? Discordant type of to it is part of it. So
it's funny you say that too, because I started with his first solo album in 2021, and then I was playing some of his music like 2 months ago for Kayla. It was like from his solo album, and it may have been one of the first 2 singles off Marlowe 3. And like the first thing she said was like, "Oh, this is really catchy." Like, so like you're saying, like it's not like it wasn't super catchy like in the first album. He's still doing a lot of the same things, but like it's like a broader spectrum now, a little catchier, which is probably helpful for him. And he's still like, yeah, I know what you're trying to say though, but it's like it's definitely
it can like worm into your head. Like I'm not saying I won't even hear this stuff like in my head, very unpoppy, which is a good thing in my mind.
Yeah,
like
super unpoppy, right?
Yeah,
but catchy too. Like,
yeah.
Did you guys watch any of the videos?
No.
I did not.
Okay. The Basement, Things We Summon, and Lost Arts, I think, are the only 3 videos from the album. Actually, I'd seen Lost Arts and up until like the past week, I don't think I watched the other ones. But Lost Arts video is dope.
Yeah, I'll have to check those out. You want to go into some weaknesses? What are
Yeah.
some weaknesses of the album?
I think like a theme, but there it's like a collection of like, you know, not necessarily connected. Like I said, this doesn't even mean it's bad. But like, I think a lot of times, especially in hip hop, the one thing I like is like them kind of constructing a narrative or a scene or like building kind of a world. And I feel like I don't necessarily get that a lot of times in this album. Like I get like, you know, I feel like I'm in this dude's head, but I don't necessarily know what the hell's going on outside. What he's, you know what I mean? Like it's a reaction, and like an inner monologue, I guess. But like, I feel like I don't have a lot of feedback of like what he's witnessing while this inner monologue's always manifesting, if that makes sense. So like, I don't feel he paints a like very clear picture of his perspective, as much as, you know, sort of I really like or cryptic. You know what I mean? So you gotta like say like an Ace Rock album, like you gotta listen to the thing like 20 times before like you might understand like certain metaphors and things like that. So like I said, I feel like I gotta give this like more solid listens before I can like fully judge. But I would say like first out the gate, like first impression, like beyond like title and a few of the themes, but like, you know, really making me feel it.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like a the canvas where like the paint's getting splashed, kind of, but it still looks really dope.
I kind of agree with the, and I know Blacklisted keeps saying, you know, he needs to give it more of a listen, but I think I gave it enough of a listen, and I didn't hear a lot of content. I do hear a lot of braggadocio, and I'm not just trying to go off of other opinions. I did read that in reviews of the album. You hear the first couple tracks, and it's like, okay, this dude can definitely spit. He knows how to put bars together. He's got a dope delivery. But I kind of felt like the cadence gets a little tiring. You know, it's a little bit shrill. I think somebody mentioned earlier how it was like, you know, it's kind of in your face, you know, and it's like an acquired taste. To me, it's like he's on a piano roll the entire time, and he's like doing do, re, mi. Like every bar is melodic. You know, he finds like this melody, and that's probably helps him get to the like stream of consciousness that he's in. But to me, it was kind of like one trick pony. So after a while, you know, and regardless, it's still a short album, you know, because yeah, it's like 17 tracks, but there's a bunch of minute-long instrumentals. And so, like, that's not a criticism. I'm not saying it to criticize that. I just felt like I was looking for a little more variety in the songwriting. I feel like if I saw that live, you know, it's kind of like you're hearing the same thing, and then you're waiting for an introspective track or something. And I mean, it's all subjective. Like Dave is saying that you're saying that you listen to it and you hear more of that. I wasn't catching it. But that's my biggest criticism. But overall, I mean, the album is a good one because the production's there. And, you know, in some sense, he's an exciting MC to listen to. You know, he's not too calm or anything like that. I just felt like, okay, switch it up rather than the melodic wordplay over and over and over again.
It's a sour ale.